I want to divorce my husband. But everyone keeps telling me I will die alone if I do so. What is the best course of action? I caught my husband cheating on me with my daughter's teacher. We have 3 kids. We have been married for 15 years and together for 20 years. But recently I found out he has been cheating. I reported the teacher and separated from my husband. I served him divorce papers because cheating has always been a deal breaker for me. My husband has begged a lot, but I still didn't budge. It's been 1.5 months since I served him divorce. I have had people try to convince me to stay. I've heard numerous pieces of advice, but most common were: 1. All men cheat. If I leave my husband and find a new man, the chances that he will cheat on me is still high. Better to stay with him. 2. I will be a single mom. A single mom with 3 kids has a difficult time finding a new partner. We have baggage. Besides, I am 37. 3. I should just let him cheat, because at the end of the day, he still provides and pays the bills. 4. Think about your kids and how it will affect them. Divorce is always harsh on kids. 5. I am taking their father away from them. All these I avoided. But what struck me was what my mother said. My mom also divorced my dad when he cheated. Our dad abandoned us after the divorce was final. I barely talked to him. My mother said sometimes she wishes she didn't divorce my dad. He left us because he was angry that my mom didn't want to work things out. If she had just worked things out, I would still have a dad. Part of the reason she was single till I was 18 was because she didn't want strange men to groom me and take advantage of me. She said to think about it. I have thought about this for a long time. I cannot even look at him. His face disgusts me. The last time he touched my arm, I jerked it off. I am fine if I never date again, but I've always had abandonment issues. I think about my children and it makes me want to change my mind. But how can I stay with a man who disgusts me? We will be living like roommates. I need some insights on what is the right thing to do for me and my kids. Response 1. Your husband cheated with the teacher of your kids. He cares shit about your kids. How many people at the school, including other parents, know now? The fact that he did that to your kids and has embarrassed them in such a way, even though they might not know personally, is telling enough. You don't shit where you or your kids eat. Your husband just did. Divorce him. Response 2. Stay the course and divorce. Not all men cheat, and plenty of single moms marry again. Think about the message your kids get if you stay with a cheater and you didn't take their father away from them. He did that on his own. What happened to the teacher? If she's married, I would definitely reach out to her husband. Response 3. All men cheat? Bullcrap. That's folks typically projecting their own behavior and or experience. I'm a man, never cheated, never even seriously thought to do so, and can't say I've never had attractive women hit on me. Think about your kids and how it will affect them. Yes, do you want to teach them that it's fine to be a cheater? It doesn't matter because your partner will stay regardless? What else do you want to teach them? And how much do you want to teach them what they ought to put up with from a partner? Do you want to teach your kids that banging the kid's teacher is acceptable because it wouldn't even break up a marriage? His actions and consequences. You're not taking him away. He freaking left to go bang your daughter's teacher. Divorce his butt and also teach your kids to not accept nor tolerate the unacceptable. Response 4. Yes, it may be rough on the kids, but it's much more damaging to grow in a broken home. Also, my mom found love again at 57 and she has 5 kids. In a world with 7 billion people, you can always find someone else. Response 5. What sort of people are you hanging around with? Jeez! Being in a happy relationship is great, but being in a bad one is far, far, far worse than being single. So you stay. What's to stop him cheating and leaving? What message does this show your kids? Why wouldn't you die alone if you did stay married? Most couples don't die on the same day. Honestly, this idea that you need to be in a romantic relationship to be happy is garbage. Focus on yourself, your needs, your hobbies, and your friendships. Although sounds like you need better ones. Don't waste any more time with a man who would break his vows and treat you like this. The consequences, like taking their father from the kids, are on him, not you. He can be in their lives and not in your bed. Most kids deal with divorce. They'll cope. Most adults whose parents stayed together for the kids will tell you it's far worse. The best parent is a happy parent. Response 6. I had the exact same issue when I got divorced. I told them to F off because my worth is not measured whether I'm in a relationship or not. And considering the circumstances, it's highly inappropriate and tone-deaf to talk about a new relationship when 1. Not even divorced yet, and 2. Got cheated on. Here I am 3 years later, a single mom, not short on male attention, and so happy as a single person doing my own thing. Response 7. Divorce, I say this as a 37-year-old man. Whether you date or not is moot. Living in that toxicity will also negatively affect your children. I lived in a relationship where I was cheated on repeatedly, as they never stop. And that was dead for the kids. The kids know something is wrong and get a skewed sense of normal from it at best. Worse, they think your broken relationship is what happiness good looks like. Be free of this person who brings you pain and disgust. When you are ready, you can consider dating. And you won't be forever alone unless you want to be. Even cultivating good, solid friendships will be helpful. Not all men cheat, just the shitty ones. Response 8. OP. You are not doing this to your kids. Your husband did when he cheated, lied, and betrayed his family. His actions have consequences. If he is a father who wants to stay involved, he will make an effort to co-parent. Both of you will need to find a new norm. Consider therapy to work towards that. You get to make a decision how to take this forward. He lost that privilege when he cheated. Response 9. I want to come at this from the perspective of someone who is single. Being single is way better than being with someone who hurts you. Being single is not the worst thing in the world. In fact, I find it to be largely positive. Being single doesn't mean you will be alone. In fact, I have more people in my life now than I ever had while I was in a relationship because a soul-sucking relationship isn't taking up all my attention, and I've been able to focus on giving love and attention to my friendships. People who tell you you shouldn't prioritize your own health and well-being and get a divorce are projecting their own fears onto you. Your mother is from a generation where women largely needed men due to not having the same rights as men. However, in 2024, US women do not need men. We can in fact live largely fulfilled lives without the struggle of also having to take care of men who clearly do not care for us. You are hella strong and fantastic, and you will most likely have many hard times during the divorce, but I also believe that you will have moments where you feel an ease you haven't felt in years. Response 10. This is utter BS. I mean other people's opinions on why you should stay, including your mom taking on the blame for your dad's actions. You may end up alone, no one can guess that. But it wouldn't be because you had enough self-respect to leave some selfish cheater who put what's between his legs before his family. These people deserve no more thought than the energy it takes to file a divorce. And if your kids are abandoned by their dad because of this, then he would be such an unworthy parent that chances are he would have abandoned them in the future. Love yourself and your kids enough to not be swayed by toxic rubbish. If you stay with him, do it because you want to and are reconciled to the fact that he almost certainly won't change, not because you are afraid of the unknown and uncertain. Response 11. The fact your dad abandoned you to punish your mom is so effed up. Like, what kind of man does that? If that's actually true, your mom divorcing your dad didn't cost you a father. You never had one to begin with. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but my dad would literally flay himself alive rather than not have a relationship with me. Do not blame divorce for the fact you don't have a relationship with your dad. You don't have a relationship because he's scummy. Also, would being alone be that bad? The happiest cohort of people is single women or something like that. Response 12. Staying in a relationship like this isn't good, and I mean exclusively because of the kids. You might not think they will find out about him cheating, but doing so will have severe consequences for them. And even if they don't find out, they can tell something is off. Kids intuit more than we give them credit for. You'll end up teaching your kids that it's okay to cheat and that people are supposed to stay together, even if they don't get along. Getting a divorce will give a bump on the road for the kids for a while, but they will settle and adapt. Tell their teachers about the divorce so they are aware, in case there's a change in behavior of your kids. Talk to your kids about why mom and dad no longer will stay together without mentioning the cheating and without portraying anyone as the villain. Response 13. It will damage the kids more to see the dad treat their mom like crap by cheating on her. What do you think that will teach them? That it's okay to cheat on your partner, or if your partner cheats, you should stay miserable and stay with them. You shouldn't compare your experience with theirs. You feel abandonment because your dad left and never came back. There might not be. He might stay in the picture and still see them. Response 14. If you can't even stand him touching you, then you have your answer. Your marriage as of now is over. You can try couples counseling if you really want to. At the end of the day, it's your life, really. You are the one who will have to live with that man. As for the life after divorce, I have seen my friends dating and enjoying life again. Not necessarily wanting to get married again and not introducing men to their children. Can't say anything about that. There's no guarantee in life that everything will be better after the divorce. You just tackle one problem at a time. As for what happened with your father, he didn't want to be yours. It has nothing to do with the divorce because an ex-wife is different from your children and he chose to abandon his family. He probably would have done that even if he had chosen to be with another woman himself and divorced your mother. Think about that. Response 15. I think it's good for your children to see that relationships can end, but life moves on and that change isn't necessarily a bad thing. Especially for your daughters to see that they don't have to stay in a relationship where they're being disrespected, which is exactly what's happened here. Well done for standing your ground. Once a boundary is crossed, it's no longer a boundary. I come from a long line of strong and incredibly capable women and dishonest men, and honestly, I've always had so much respect for the strong women in my life. They've been amazing role models. I was a happily single mom for years before meeting my current partner. He knows that I'm not with him because I need him, but because I want to be with him. But if the relationship broke down or lines were crossed, I know I can absolutely cope on my own. Response 16. Whoever is giving you this advice is insane. 1. I have never cheated in my life and never will. Plenty of other men will be the same. 2. What's wrong with being a single mother? At least you'll be a single mother with dignity. My mom raised 3 of us on her own after she divorced my dad. 3. This is just ridiculous. I can't believe people are seriously saying this to you. 4. Sure, divorce isn't great and it may affect your kids, but you don't know how they will take it. You have the opportunity here to show your kids just how strong you are and that you won't put up with any shit. 5. I don't understand the logic behind this one. Your husband made the choice to cheat. He is the one that split the family up. I'm sure you will have a plan in place for him still getting to see the kids, so this one makes no sense. I respect my mom massively for divorcing my dad for what he did to her. My dad didn't really feature much in our life after the divorce, and to be quite honest, I couldn't care less. Your kids will find out the real story one day about what caused the divorce, and they will be behind you. I wouldn't worry about that. I'd also be very concerned at the people giving you this advice. They don't sound like people that are looking out for you at all. If my friend told me that he was being cheated on, my first thing would be to tell them to break up without hesitation. Response 17. So, those people who are giving you advice where they make it sound like they know the future, and they know how every single man on earth acts, they are actually not part of your marriage, and they don't get a vote in your decision-making process. I can't speak on how divorce impacts kids, but I imagine growing up witnessing a relationship where the two people do not appreciate each other would affect them too. If you divorce him and get child support, he will still be paying the bills, right? Response 18. OP, stay the course. You have been together many years. I am sure he knew cheating was a deal breaker. He made his choice, and with one of your children's teachers no less. If it has been a deal breaker, it's nearly impossible to come back from that, even with therapy. By divorcing, you can show your children they do not need to put up with this kind of behavior, that you deserve respect, and you are not a doormat. How many times do you read adults saying they wish their parents got divorced when they were kids because the house was toxic, etc.? You are making the right choice. You are worth more than his cheating, lying butt deserves. Response 19. All right, let me tell you about that die alone nonsense. Everyone dies alone. It's not a journey that anyone can take with you. And being a woman, chances are you would outlive a spouse anyway unless you marry someone quite a bit younger. Get a divorce and be happy. Your husband is endangering your health and your finances. What if he got another woman pregnant? Protect yourself. Do you want your children to grow up in an environment where the parents are at odds with each other all the time? Hell no. You need some peace and happiness on your own. Response 20. If you were madly in love with him and will to forgive him, then yes, stay. But if you can't stand his face or even the thought of him touching you, the divorce. You can co-parent and even in time be friends. But trusting him again with your heart might be a fool's choice. You may have your kids 50-50, but you'll have a heap of free time to go to the gym, study, clean your house, catch up with friends, watch TV series, work. It will take time, but you'll be okay. You're raising 3 children. You're stronger than you know. Your husband broke a vow he made to you. He's a cake eater, wants a wife and a girlfriend. Well, he can't have both.